Sagittarius, let's get right into your reading here. This is going to be a collective reading for any and all Sagittarius placements and stuff. If you are aware of any Sagittarius placements in your birth chart, this reading could be for you, but always use your own discernment and make sure you are staying aware for the specific area of life your birth chart placement could be talking about. Also, another thing, if you don't know any of that fancy stuff, that is fine. If you just want to hear me speak and you want to hear some words, that is fine too. We have a whole range of people that sit here and lurk during these readings. So, thank you for lurking, and thank you for anyone who's going to be watching on YouTube in the future time. So, if anyone's watching live now and you want to catch a reading from about your sign, your zodiac sign, you can check out my tarot YouTube channel, and there are plenty of uploads there, because every time I do readings on here, I upload it on my YouTube channel. So, let's get into clear, honest message for Sagittarius. Six of Wands and Ten of Pentacles reversed, and the Wheel of Fortune with Justice on the bottom of the deck. I feel like not only it's not about recognizing justice in your life, it's recognizing karmic balance in your life. I think you're seeing the whole, like, what goes around comes around thing with the Wheel of Fortune, but also recognizing it as like, good things that go around and come around. And I hate to say, I feel like someone's literally, like, waiting. And it's like, you recognize, I've done all this not necessarily good stuff. It's not like, I'm a good Samaritan, why don't I have $1 million? Like, no, that's not what you're thinking. It's a humble thought of like, hey, I put a lot of effort into this, and like, not for no reason. Like, this was all like from the heart, and I put a lot of work into this, and it almost feels like you haven't gotten everything like you wanted out of it, or haven't gotten anything out of the hard work that you've done. And it feels like there's this one thing that's missing that I think will be like it feels like to you a key to the success, but it's not like in an egotistical way. I don't know how else to explain it other than it feels like I think it feels like how you would feel after a big game or a big match. Like, let's say you're someone who's a part of some kind of sports team, right? And there's this big giant game, and you put in a lot of work, and maybe you didn't get, like, you didn't score the, like, winning points or whatever, but you were essentially assisting people, like, super profoundly in the game. You're assisting them to get them the points. So it's like, if you weren't there, they wouldn't have been able to get the points. So, like, you were an important piece. But it feels like there's an essence of, like, you got the one, like, thank you in the moment of, oh, that was so cool. If you weren't there, I wouldn't have been able to score that. Thank you. And then, like, months later, all you're hearing is how the other person scored the point. And you're like, well, you know who passed the ball to them? And they're like, no, I don't really remember who passed the ball to them, but that was crazy how they scored that, kind of a thing. And it's like, oh, well, you don't want to rub it in, so you decide, it's like, I think someone's humble here enough to not say who, like, say, oh yeah, that was me, kind of a thing that did that thing that you forgot about. You feel humble in not wanting to say it, but it's also like, I think in any scenario, any human would want to, like, be like, hey, I was there too, kind of a thing. Like, hey mom, I'm on TV. I think there's just the little kid in us that has the, like, hey, look, I'm on TV, but not that. It's just the, look what I did. I did like a cool, important thing that it may not be the star of the show, but it essentially helps with the star of the show. And I think it's one thing where I like it when I've seen a couple like theater shows and they bring out the stage crew on the like where everyone's like doing the whole, it's like the credit sequence of the show, but it's more of like crediting the actors and performers and all the people involved in the show and stuff like that. But there's some shows that will bring the stage crew out on stage, like the main like stage directors and stuff like that, to acknowledge like the hard work behind the scenes. And I think that's the thing, is there's hard work behind the scenes that feels discredited, but it's not like a bad thing. Like it feels like, damn, I've worked so hard on this. It would be nice to at least hear one compliment. This is the energy I'm feeling. You recognize that, yeah, you don't need a compliment to be successful at the thing that you just did, but you also wouldn't mind hearing it. But this is where it kind of gets tricky with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse of, it's not like you're expecting a compliment. It's more of thinking that I put in all this hard work, like, if someone saw it, you know the response that you would have to it. Like, you know that, like, someone would be like, oh yeah, it must have been all, like, super hard work, and you're like, yeah, it was hard work, but it was still really fulfilling, so, like, thank you for noticing, or whatever, kind of a thing. But it's, like, it's not all that serious, because there's a part where you want to give this energy to yourself, but you want it to be not, I think someone's saying to themselves, you want it to be not cliche. You want it to be like, hey, I'm complimenting myself and I actually believe it, and I'm fine if 0 people tell me I worked hard at this thing. It's kind of like, I know I worked hard at it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to believe in, is that I believe I worked hard on it, and am giving, for you, Sagittarius, giving yourself credit for the hard work that you completed. I think this is, acceptance of change happening. 6 of Wands, clarifying the 6 of Wands is the Death card reversed, which is that acceptance card. The Star, the healing card. And the Fool reversed, which is new opportunities and new ventures. But 4 of Cups is sitting out there. It's kind of poking out on the bottom of the deck, so I thought it should be out. Let's stick with the 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands, that card of recognition. The Death reversed, the Star, and the Fool reversed. You have this level of acceptance that I think you are slowly and ever so slowly been healing, but the hardest part has been the doing. Like, I can't stress enough how just trying to believe in yourself feels like getting up off this beach after a long hard days of work, and you're like, I don't want to get up. The ocean sounds so nice and it's so relaxing, but my cup is empty and I'm thirsty, and if I got up, there's water right there for me to, try and harvest and drink and stuff. But not saying drink the ocean water straight, but hey, water is water. It's not water is water, it's more of like the cup of fulfillment metaphor. I'm really kind of like, me saying that you're thirsty is a metaphor for life, like thirsty for things in life. And there's a whole ocean of opportunity right there, but you kind of need to get up and get after it, Like, I think that's been the big key for a lot of this, and needing to see yourself, like, in the, I think, 3rd person when it comes to these scenarios of when you're thirsty. You should just kind of zoom out for a second and be like, hey, like, where is this thing? It's kind of right there, and if you put in this little bit of work now, to gain this little bit of enjoyment in life, in the future, that's something that isn't just going to be like a short-term thing. Like, it feels like when you bring this energy in, it is a long-term, like, goal of stability and balance. This is where I think a lot of karmic balance comes into play, because karma in itself always talks about, like, just little things of, like, hey, for example, for me, I want to become a Twitch streamer and do this full-time. I essentially am doing it full-time already. I treat this every single day as if I am a full-time streamer making, like, a solid income off this. I am making just enough right now, but the more that I treat it as if it were, like, a sustainable job, the more my mentality changes of how I work through things, how I schedule my day, how I put my effort in certain tasks and certain, like, behind the scenes work and stuff like that. I still also have my own life that I live, but there is an aspect of worry that is put to the wayside because I'm not trying to expect, like, every single day to be, like, an amazing day. Like, it's kind of shifting the focus of, hey, what you want could essentially be as similar to how a business functions. And if a business were to, you know, not have, like, most small businesses don't have a shit ton of customers every single day. And I think remembering that you won't have a load of success in whatever process you're going through, whether it's, like, a physical thing around you or it's an emotional healing process, well, that's happening already regardless. It's more of whether it's that and something else or just that. I forgot what I was saying. But there's the aspect of choosing yourself. Clarifying the Ten of Pentacles reversed, we have Four of Cups, Two of Cups, and the Empress reversed. You have to be the one willing to plant those seeds, but not only plant those seeds, really, like, consistently take care of them. And I think you know how, but I think it's always a little difficult to figure out how to get started. And I think just because you struggle with getting started, or you struggle with, some people I think get started too quickly and then realize they don't have the time to take care of a certain thing right away. It's like your schedule is all overwhelming now because you started too many tasks at once type deal. Oh. Almost integrating these two parts of yourself. I think there's two parts of Sagittarius that don't want to move and want to move, like, super fast. But you know that you can't just stay stagnant and you can't just move too fast. Both of those things are just too much of too much of one thing being a bad thing. And this is where I think you are even questioning yourself. How do you bring in these two energies together? Because you feel them kind of cultivating together already. And I feel like if you're asking yourself how, I don't blame you how to, you know, bring these two sides of you together. What I can say is I think it's already slightly happened. I think the acknowledgement and the recognition that's happening now is the key moment that you started kind of integrating these two sides of yourself. Healing isn't always a clear process. Healing is going to be something that will only be fully understood in time. And we can understand what we need to understand in the moment, but that's all we need to know in the moment. And there's a lot of healing for myself that I knew I wasn't going to understand, and then the time come and I was like, yep, this is hitting me like a shit load of bricks, it feels like. But also I am now more enlightened about this past thing more than ever, but that was due to time and me trusting, hey, I don't really understand all this about myself. I don't understand why these two sides didn't work together, and maybe even still kind of get a little frustrated with each other, but still work so fluidly together. Like, there's certain parts that I don't even understand as much as I read tarot. I can't even fully explain to you. It just happens, and it's also the aspect of when it just works, it fucking works. And no one to this day, I think, can truly fully explain how that feels unless you see it for yourself and feel it for yourself. But it always feels like that the moment that we recognize we want to integrate with ourselves and integrate two sides, this lighter version, darker version, whatever you want to call it, ego, higher self, different parts of your mind, body, and soul coming together and creating this whole you that makes you, Sagittarius. And I think that's the thing that gets missed, is that moment is the essential spark of the integration engines. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the reading. The Empress gives me that essence of it is your choice at the end of the day. Once you feel this kick of like energy that feels what feels like insanely motivational, but also like, you know what, I feel like it's someone saying to themselves, you know what, I want to bring these two sides of me together and have them walk hand in hand like best friends almost, but I'm gonna go out there and do it for myself. Like, it's more of like helping the process, assisting the process, planting seeds and sowing seeds to help in this very guided and self-guided healing process. Some of you, I think, have misunderstood yourself for like your entire life, and I feel like this is a big moment of, oh hey, like, we finally see ourselves. And I can't express enough how healing it is just to acknowledge and recognize yourself. Like, there's so much to this that I think provides so much sense of knowledge of the self. And only you are gonna know what that means. I can't even explain, like, all the stuff I know about myself. So it's only gonna be something that really kind of rings true for you. We have the Sun card out here, clarifying the last card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. The Sun reversed, the Prince of Cups reversed, and the Hermit card, which the Hermit card is the cover art for this tarot deck. The box on this specific tarot deck is like, the art on it is this card is the Hermit card. We have the Sun, the Prince of Cups, and the Hermit. You've been on a hermit journey for a long time. I think this is someone really, truly looking back at all the effort they put in to really, I think, just be in tune with themselves. Come on, focus. Why won't you focus? There we go. I wanted to focus so you can at least see the face a little better. There we go. And the little trail, it's like that's the path. Look at how far you've come along this path. That path leads out into the stars. Six of Cups on the bottom of the deck as well. I think, I hate to say I think, that's just a, I have a habit of saying that. The Sun And the Knight / Prince of Cups, they have such a very clever energy about perseverance that's very fluid. You need to have a fluid sense of perseverance because it's like being able to slip past the rocks in a heavy river and understand the best part of the flow to where you want to move fast. I know Sagittarius is like moving pretty quickly with things. They're very just like, we're sure about it, let's go, kind of a thing. You feel that, you go with it. You feel like you need to pump the brakes, pump the fucking brakes. You feel like you gotta step on the gas pedal just a little bit, you know, rev those engines just a little. You gotta at least make sure, whether you're working with an automatic, manual car, for a big metaphor here, you are working with, I think, the tools you have at hand. And also the advice is to work with the environment you have at hand. It's not just the tools, but it's also the tools that your environment can provide. Whether, like, for me, if there was like a dance studio that had like a free space on the weekends, kind of a thing, like, I would totally fucking try and go there almost every weekend just to at least have that kind of space. And it's just I think the determination, that's the perseverance in all of this healing, because this energy is so determined to really like break past these old beliefs and barriers that I feel like you are really keenly not disrespecting about yourself. You are saying, hey, this has been of the past. It is what it is, kind of a thing. You're looking at it for what it is. And almost just kind of like appreciating like the past just for what it is. Like, yep, that's what it is. That's where I've come from. This is where I am, and this is where I'm gonna go. And I think the big advice right now has been obviously everything I said earlier in the reading, because there's a lot right here that I feel like I don't remember fully to repeat. But the Sun and the Prince of Cups just give me this, like, you find so much sense of fulfillment when you find the fluid balance in your work and your work ethic when it comes to being able to know how to rest when needing to rest and going when you need to go. There's so much like admiration in this, because it's something that most people just don't really know or have the motivation or inspiration to do. Because some people I feel like need to be inspired to get this, like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna hold back, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna maybe kind of walk, and I'm gonna run, I'm gonna sprint, alright, I'm gonna jog now. And then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna take a break, kind of a thing. There's so much of just being sure of your exact next move in the moment. And I think this is very complex, but also it's going to make sense to the right people at the right time. So I want to thank you for listening, because that is all I have for you. I feel like I could keep repeating myself in 10 different ways, but it's not going to change the message that I think y'all have gotten out of this reading. So that is all I have for you, Sagittarius. Thank you for watching. We are not ending on Twitch just yet, but for anyone who's going to be watching on YouTube in the future time, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are on this beautiful planet Earth of ours. As always, see you in the next one.